I just had an epiphany, I think. Um, I'm thinking about the reason why a lot of people don't buy guns, have guns, or carry guns. Even though it doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would you not want to protect yourself? It's obvious bad things happen in the world as long as you watch the news. Anyone knows that. Even if you don't watch the news, anyone knows that. So why wouldn't you want to, right? Those basic things that all of us in the gun community question, like, I don't get it. Why don't you see the common sense in this? So then I started thinking, are they hiding from the reality of it? Now, that's something that I've always figured, but then I went a little deeper and I checked myself. What I mean by that is, I'm talking on Jolly Rancher, sorry. Um, I've heard people talk about a civil war, right? They go, "Oh, if things get worse, we're gonna have a civil war," and most people online talk as if they're gonna be on the front lines and they're gonna be fighting and shooting and whatnot. And whenever I hear that, I immediately get away from it. And then I had to figure out why I do that. I do it because I don't want it to happen. I don't want a civil war to happen so bad that I just ignore that conversation altogether. I don't think about it. I don't want to think about it. And even when I actually have thought about it, I'm like, am I going to be out there fighting? Like, I'm disabled. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know if I'd be a benefit. I think I would. I know I would. Even being disabled, I know I would. But still, it's like, would I be out there fighting? Would I be out there putting my life on, knowing it's a war and knowing that it's very likely I may die? And the thought's there, but then as far as communicating that with other people and talking to, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to see myself in this horrible scenario. Right? And then and it hit me, okay. People don't want to carry guns because to have to use your gun is such a horrific thought that they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with it. I don't want to think about I have to use my gun. I don't want to think about the fact I have to shoot someone. I don't want to think about the fact that someone is trying to kill me. And if I don't shoot them first, I'm going to die. They don't want to think about this, period. And that's why they don't have a gun. That's why they don't go get a gun, because they don't want it to become a reality. They think if I go get a gun and carry it, I'm calling for life to give me that scenario. Right? As if they buy the gun, then life itself is going to alter itself and cause you to be in a scenario where you have to defend yourself. Maybe, I don't know. Would it help if a lot of those people knew that most people who carried have never had to draw the firearm, never had to use it whatsoever, and most people die never having to use their gun? Would that help people? I don't know. But I probably make people feel uncomfortable when I tell them about my scenarios, who are anti-gun or not even anti-gun, just in between, like the I don't know, but I don't want to have to use a gun. I'm scared, kind of deal. So it's just something that hit me, And it helped me to understand, and I don't think that's all of them, but it helps me to understand a lot of the way some of these people think. I can relate to them now. As much as I don't want a civil war to happen, I'm prepared. In pretty much any kind of way. I don't want an earthquake to destroy Western Washington, but I'm prepared for it. It's weird because I'm like, it's almost like I'm ready for like a horrible earthquake or tsunami or something crazy. I've been through several life and death scenarios, but that civil war bothers me for some reason. For some reason, that's it. Maybe because I know so much about the actual civil war that happened. There were so many deaths. It's unfreaking believable. I mean, it is bananas what that did to this country. There's good that came from it, but there's a lot of bad that came from it. Took us a long time to recover from that. The Wild West came from that. That's a fact. The Wild West was not nowhere near as bad as it was prior to the Civil War. After the Civil War, you had people who were so used to killing, and killing was such a normal thing to them that when it was all said and done, you had guys who were just like, I don't care, I'll kill you for whatever. I was in war, killing's nothing now. And there's nothing, they had nothing back then to help you become a civilian again like they do now, right? Not even saying that works, but I'm just saying they had nothing. It was just like, oh, war's over, go home. And a real good example of that is the Hatfield versus McCoys. There's a good 3-series movie show kind of thing on the Hatfield and McCoys. And I didn't know that how that even started. And it started from two guys who were both fighting for the same side in the Civil War, who were like best buddies. They both saved each other in war. They risked their own lives for each other specifically. Best buds. And after the war, you know, one was upset at the other because the other left the war and didn't stay through it all the way through. And these two guys who were basically best friends began to have this like, don't ever talk to me again rival. And then the families of those two guys ended up going to war. And that's what happened with the Hatfields and McCoys. And it all came from that Civil War. That Civil War did crazy things, and it took us a long time to recover from that. And maybe that's why I just don't want to even think about it. Like, I know how horrible it can be, but it's a reality. And I do think about it. As much as I don't want to, I still do. And I'm prepared for that. And I know I could probably even lead in that if it came all the way down to it. But I don't want it to happen. And these common people do not want a mass shooting to happen, but nobody does, right? That's the thing. Nobody wants to have to use the gun. Nobody does. But some of us are willing to take matters into our own hands. We're willing to go, you know what, but it could, so let me make sure I'm okay. While other people go, I don't want to think about it. And if I don't think about it, then maybe it won't happen. And that is the thought process that a lot of these people have. Play me out.